Okay, this is a video I've been wanting to do for the last couple of weeks. There have been a number of YouTube channels, even YouTube channels that I subscribe to and I watch their content on a pretty regular basis. They have been fielded out to the Biofire factory of this new smart gun that people are talking about, and they're testing it out and they're putting reviews online. It's obvious to me for a number of reasons why most of these reviews are actually pretty glowing reviews or overall positive reviews is because they're actually on site at the Biofire facility, and it's kind of hard to be sitting in a room with the people who made the thing that you're reviewing and they're looking at you while you're talking about the gun, and it's kind of hard to say a lot of things negative about the gun when they're looking at you. Because they're not going to ship you one of these things. They're still in the development stage. And if you don't know, so the Biofire is this smart gun. It's a supposed smart gun. And you pick it up and it recognizes you as the owner and then allows you and only you to shoot it. Okay, this is designed as a personal defense weapon that you can keep in the home, and it's safe for kids. It's safe to have, around all these people. It's not going to get up and just start, blowing people away. For someone to pick it up, it will recognize you as the owner, supposedly, and allow you to engage whatever threat that may or may not be there, whatever. So here's the deal. I have three reasons why this is stupid. This is dumb. And over the course of years, there have been numerous companies that have come out and tried to develop something like this. I'm going to give you three reasons why I think this is dumb. Number one, let's just go with that first reason. It's obvious. It should be obvious to everybody. Why are companies out there choosing to build something like this in the first place? Because there are tyrants among us, tyrants who walk among us in the political arenas of our society, and they're telling you that we need to take away the guns. And so those people who are the appeasers in our society, those who try to appease the tyrant, we'll come up with ways, well, if we come up with something that helps us reduce gun violence among children and gun violence amongst families and gun violence amongst our community, then we can keep our guns. Well, Mr. Master, Mr. Tyrant, if we come up with something that will help reduce these numbers, will you then allow us to keep the guns? Do you know what the answer is going to be? Hell no. The tyrant is still going to be the tyrant. The tyrant is addicted to putting his foot on the neck of the people he loves to oppress. And so you coming up with an idea, a solution, in order to try to appease the tyrant, you're not doing anyone a favor. Instead, what you should be telling the tyrant, instead of trying to come up with ways to make the tyrant less angry and less, able to take, or the less desiring to take away your liberties, what you ought to be doing is telling the tyrant to screw off and get your boot off my neck before I blow it off. That's what you tell the tyrant to do. That's why companies like this will come up with solutions like this, because they want to try to appease. And they see that there's a possible monetary gain. And because what happens is they're hoping that the tyrant will promote their product and say, oh, see, here's a solution. And it'll make them rich. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments below. I'm not wrong. I know exactly what's going on here. This is appeasement to tyrants, and appeasement to tyrants never, ever works out the way you want it to. Not ever. The way you get the tyrant off of you is to tell it to screw off. Or else. All right. The second reason why this is a dumb, stupid idea, the Biofire Smart Gun is a stupid idea, is the fact that there are levels of failure. There are, I think over a dozen different circuit boards in this one handgun. There is not a mechanical trigger. That trigger is not mechanical that's on that gun. It's actually a circuit board that tells another circuit board to tell another circuit board to tell another circuit board to actually, ad nauseum about a dozen times. Actually, it's over a dozen. I think it's 14 circuit boards. I'm not sure. But I'm watching all these reviews and I'm trying to learn about this gun because I'm not going to go to this place. And it's pointless. It's worthless. And so it's got like over a dozen circuit boards, I think 14 circuit boards maybe in this gun. And there's nothing those are all levels of failure from an item that cannot fail. These are things, this is one thing in the world that cannot possibly fail you when you need it. It sits there until it's needed. But when it's needed, it cannot fail. But it's got a dozen circuit boards. It's got so many levels of failure to it. It's insane. Oh, but Zach, we're testing it, and we're putting it through stress test, and we're running the gamut of all the ways we can make this 100% reliable. You know what? There's only two things in this world that are 100% and completely reliable, and that is Jesus Christ and my AK-47. That's it. I'm not buying it. You're not selling me that piece of goods. No way. No, there are too many levels of failure to this. I don't care how you convince me or convince anybody that this is 100% reliable, it will always work. Bullcrap. And that leads me to my third reason why the Biofire Smart Gun is stupid. And no one in the reviews talked about this, but this is scientific level stuff. Some of these guys were very technical. They're very technically oriented, very computer oriented. They should know this stuff. Have you ever picked up a tablet or a cell phone that was 10 years old and tried to get it to work? I kept my Nintendo, the original Nintendo for a long time. I got rid of it eventually, but I kept that thing for a long time. But over the years, as time went on, it got harder and harder for that thing to actually work. I even had my ColecoVision. Remember the ColecoVision from the 1980s? That was even before Atari. I kept that, but there was no point. You couldn't get it to work anymore. You know why? Because electronics break down. Try to get a smartphone that's over 10 years old or a tablet that's over 10 years old and see how fast it works. Do you think that thing's going to work as fast as it did when you pulled it out of the box on day one, 10 years or 12 years ago? Absolutely not. Electronics break down. Again, going back to my levels of failure. Check this thread out on Reddit. How do electronics with no moving parts degrade over time? ? Well, one common cause is electrolytic capacitors. With heat and time, they dry out and they go out of tolerance. Many times, old electronics can be repaired just by replacing those capacitors. Oh, that's good. I can take my Biofire and every 5 years or so, send it back into Biofire so they can take it apart and take those 12 or 14, circuit boards out of it and then replace it with new capacitors. Totally, that's all going to happen. You're an idiot if you think that's true. I'm told that a lot of it comes down to thermal cycling and mechanical vibrations. Electronics are made of a bunch of different components fit together on a microscopic scale. Changes in temperature cause these components to expand and contract at different rates and slowly wiggle themselves apart. Not only this, but normal vibration also contributes to the wiggling problem. Do you think maybe that sending a 9mm round outside of a barrel of a gun that is comprised of 12 to 14 circuit boards might cause a little bit of vibration? This is doomed. This is doomed. And if you buy one of these and put it on your shelf, it's going to sit there for, 2 or 3 years maybe, who knows? And then one day, that horrible day, you're going to need to grab that thing and defend life and liberty with it. Defend your children. Defend your wife, your spouse. And you're going to want it to work. However, the little camera at the back that recognizes your face, well, it just didn't work as fast as it did when you needed it the first time, when you first brought it home and stuck it on your cabinet or wherever you put it. And that little palm reader that reads your fingerprints, well, that just didn't work as fast as it did when you first pulled it out of the box, when you brought it home that day. And meanwhile, you have an axe stuck in your head because some weirdo broke into your house, knocked down your door, and he's trying to kill you and take and rob you and do whatever he wants to do because he's a crazy weirdo, and your smart gun now seems pretty darn stupid. Very few levels of failure will always go bang when I pull the trigger. Okay, it's built for combat. And when a guy is busting down your front door and trying to put an axe in your head, you're in combat. You don't want to rely on your one method of defense, and it's 12 to 14 circuit boards with multiple levels of failure that have wiggled themselves and degraded over time. The capacitors have degraded. You don't want to count on that for your life and liberty. Absolute insanity. I like a lot of these channels who have been, they were invited out there. Biofire, hey, come on out here and check out our new stuff. And tell your audience about it. We're going to tell you all the great things about it without actually thinking first about why are you building this in the first place? How many levels of failure does it have compared to something else? And number 3, is it going to degrade over time like every other piece of electronics that we have in our home? Do you even own a cell phone that you had 12 years ago? No. Why? Because it slows down. It's ridiculous. And what's that Biofire going to be like in 10 to 12 years? I bought this, 20 years ago? Did I buy this 20 years ago? It still fires the exact same. And if I need to make adjustments to it, I can. No big deal. I can do that myself. I don't need to send it off to have some scientist work on 12 circuit boards inside of it. I can do it all myself. I am the master gunner here. Oh, absolute insanity. Okay, maybe I'm off my rocker. Maybe I'm just not giving them a fair shake. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear. I think my printer over there just woke up. My kids are doing homeschool in the next room because I don't send my kids to the public indoctrination centers where they probably tell them, hey, go out and buy a smart gun. Anyway, listen, I know a lot of people are worried about their kids and firearms, okay? I understand that. There's a really good series I want to recommend to you. It's called Children of the Gun. It was put out by a channel called Nut and Fancy. He's a former lieutenant colonel of the United States Air Force, and I want you to check it out because I have read this video series. It's a 2-part series, came out years ago. And my kids were like, my firstborn was like, 2 or 3. And I was like, I'm going to raise my children with this method. And I have. It's called Children of the Gun by Lieutenant Colonel Nut and Fancy. I want you to check out this series. It's a 2-part series. And it's well worth. If you're worried about safety and security for your family and your home, and you want to make sure everyone is responsible, and you don't want to worry about negligent discharges and mishandling, this is the way to raise your children. If you're scared, I understand. That's why these Biofire stuff happens. People are scared. They're scared of what may happen in the wrong hands, and they're worried about these people who might take away guns, and so they're going to have to try to appease them somehow. I think Lieutenant Colonel Nut and Fancy's method is the way to go. I have raised my children this way, and I would highly, highly recommend sharing it with others if you're concerned about this. Anyway, let me know I'm crazy. Leave a comment below. My goodness, people. It's dumb. It's stupid. We'll leave it at that. Hey, guys, I don't put ads in the middle of my videos because all my ads are at the end of the video. Genesis Gold Group, if you've seen the way the world is today, it's absolute insane. You need to be safeguarding your wealth and your 401k, IRA. These are things that you can't touch. They're locked away, but Genesis Gold Group can help you. They can take these large assets that you have worked so hard to put away and save and put them into something physical. Check it out. Genesis Gold Group at the end of the video. Crazy times we're living in. I hope they can help you. I know they helped a lot of people already, and I highly recommend them. All right, guys. See you next time in the Homestead. Bye.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dean Cain, and I am a big fan of American Homestead, as are you, or you wouldn't be seeing this right now. I'm in my backyard, my homestead, where I grow lots of fruit and vegetables. Look, both Zach and I are big fans of history, and we are watching the economic situation in our country just like you are. We absolutely love this country, and it's very difficult for us to watch it struggle financially. Now, did you know that the Constitution of the United States, in Article 1, Section 10, only allows for legal currency to be minted in gold and silver? I bet you didn't. I wasn't aware. But our founders, in their wisdom, they understood that this was the true way to build a solid financial foundation for this new nation. And they were right. They were dead right. These principles rocketed the industry and the economy that made the United States the powerhouse that we now enjoy. However, today, the US dollar, it's not backed up by anything of real value. And here we are. Now, our friends at Genesis Gold Group are helping people stuck in 401ks, IRAs, and anyone else who's watching their hard-earned wealth teeter on the edge of oblivion by moving their money out of risky paper-denominated assets and into physical precious metals like gold and silver. You can touch it. I'm doing it myself. So is my sister. Call Genesis Gold Group today and let them help you develop a plan to safeguard your assets. It's simple. You can call the number on the screen or visit them at genesisgoldgroup.com. And I will see you next time on the homestead with my dogs and all the fruit that I grow. Look at all this good stuff. We got nectarines. More dogs coming down. If you get cut, we got some aloe vera for you. What I do need though is chickens. I need chickens because eggs are about the same price as gold right now. Anyway, see you on the homestead.